Speaking of the next arc, this is sure to be a very interesting discussion, especially since it's been over a year and code has completely disappeared. But after thinking it over and analyzing it for the umpteenth time, especially regarding this question, I actually discovered something far more intriguing than simply guessing which arc comes next. The code arc or the Hidari arc. In other words, the Mamushi arc, which was initially revealed in the future timeline that Koji saw, coincides with Hidari's future timeline as well. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? And honestly, when it comes to which arc is next, I know most people would be more optimistic if the next arc were code arc. The reason is quite simple, and Akimoto already revealed it at the end of chapter 33. However, if you're only focusing on the next arc, as I mentioned earlier, I found a clue, or perhaps more accurately, additional evidence, supporting my prediction from a few months ago that karma is an exception to Koji's Jippo Kashin ability. But if you don't want to watch it, to put it briefly, in that prediction I found evidence that every karma user, like Boruto, Kawaki, or even Code, has a fairly high probability that Koji's ability cannot predict them absolutely and accurately. Yeah, more accurately, it's a distraction. And once again, in that prediction, I suspected that even though Koji has the Shinjutsu ability to see future probabilities and choose that path or not, at least karma users have a chance to make that prediction miss the mark. As a simple example, this is proven in chapter 13 of 2 Blue Vortex. In that panel, Koji briefly explains that the future timeline is like a battle royale between fates. And at the very least, some of the worst possible fates involve Naruto dying and Ishiki being reborn through Kawaki's body. And that's not all. In some other worst-case scenarios Koji has seen, there's a fate where Boruto dies fighting Kawaki, along with Sarada dying as well while trying to stop it. And the worst part of all was that Kawaki, who at that time had already killed Boruto and Sarada, ultimately ended up losing to Code, whose abilities were completely overwhelming, and Kawaki was turned into food for the Ten Tails. But fortunately, even though that worst timeline had the possibility of happening, things changed starting from the moment Kawaki successfully tricked Ishiki by using a shadow clone, as well as Boruto sacrificing his eye. Because of that, all of those terrible prophecies of fate never truly came to pass. And there's one more thing you guys need to realize. When Kawaki used the shadow clone while fighting Ishiki, or when Boruto fought Kawaki and ended up losing his eye, Koji was not on their side at that time. In fact, he had already completely disappeared for quite a long time after his battle against Ishiki, right? So in short, that entire worst timeline didn't fail to happen because of Koji. Instead, it changed because of several actions taken by Kawaki and Boruto themselves. You could call it coincidence, or maybe it was influenced by certain factors such as karma itself, right? However, when it comes to how karma users can ignore or not be included in every prophecy of Koji's ability, there are many examples. And again, this all started during Boruto's battle against Jura in the Land of Wind. When Jippo's vision updated in the middle of Boruto's fight against Jura, where Boruto was originally supposed to die, fortunately, there was a very shocking intervention. And honestly, even we still question how, because in that prophecy, Jura was seen covering one of his eyes with his hand as if some kind of incident had injured his eye. And once again, in the actual event, Jura really did cover that eye because it had been stabbed by Kawaki's black rod, right? But the question is, how is that even possible? In that updated future timeline, let alone Kawaki himself, not even his black rods were present in that prophecy. And I know, perhaps when I say this, or more precisely, that a karma user could ignore or be an exception to Jippo's ability and use this panel as a counter, honestly, that can't be taken as a definitive reference. In other words, even though in the timeline Koji saw at that time, we saw Borushiki and Kawashiki fighting, at least Jippo's ability can't absolutely and completely predict what the karma user is actually doing, right? So simply put, even though in this timeline panel we see Borushiki and Kawashiki, at least they still have a loophole to remain unread or unanticipated in the future of that ability's timeline. Because as I've said from the start, karma users have the potential to distract or become exceptions to that ability. It's not truly absolute. And in conclusion, from just those few examples, we can definitively conclude that Kawaki and Boruto do indeed have the potential to disrupt the Jippo Shinjutsu. And if we return to the main topic, you surely also remember how other future timelines were revealed aside from Jura's. And one of them, as you can see here, starting with Mamushi, Daemon, and even Sarada and Hidari, they were all revealed in that single future panel which turned out to be proven true in the next chapter, at least just Mamushi so far. But the question that might arise again is, did Koji actually not see code in that timeline? Was it purely, literally, just Sarada, Hidari, or even just Mamushi? Because in my opinion, this isn't a coincidence. Since Mamushi was revealed alongside Hidari and Sarada, plus Kawaki's appearance wasn't in that prophecy, this is definitely strong evidence that Code is also a user, someone with the same potential as Boruto and Kawaki to distort that future and remain undetected. Yeah, that's just how it is. And honestly, logically speaking, it's hard to say that starting from this panel, all future timelines will be revealed, right? Especially since this is about Code. Based on my calculations, he's been gone for over a year. I know as fans, we can only speculate and wonder. But if we just speculate and wonder without gathering any evidence, it all sounds like nonsense. And the real question is, if we refer to the timeline that happened during Boruto's fight against Jura in the Land of Wind, then based on the order of events, the next chapter should have been the Hidari vs. Sarada arc, because after Mamushi's invasion ended, the next timeline was supposed to be Hidari and Sarada. But unfortunately, the ending of chapter 33 instead revealed Code's whereabouts, and there wasn't even a single clue or hint about the Shinju or Hidari. Which means if Ikemoto really plans to reveal the events based on the timeline order that has been shown in every chapter, then Hidari and Sarada are the most possible next arc. However, if in reality that timeline was never the true reference in the first place, then this upcoming Code arc makes us even more convinced that Code is an exception to Koji's ability. And as a final conclusion, in my opinion, the most important point of all this is no longer whether the next arc is Code or Hidari. Rather, it is the fact that more and more evidence suggests that Karma users can indeed be exceptions to Kashin Koji's Shinjutsu abilities. Starting with Kawaki successfully outmaneuvering Ishiki, Boruto altering his own fate, all the way to Kawaki's intervention against Jura, which isn't even clearly visible in Koji's future timeline. All of this points to one thing. The Jippo ability can indeed foresee future probabilities, but it isn't entirely absolute when it comes to Karma users. And if that's true, then Code not appearing in Hidari and Mamushi's timeline doesn't mean he doesn't exist there. In fact, the biggest possibility is that his existence can't be completely read by Koji's ability, just like Boruto and Kawaki. That's why, in my opinion, if the next chapter really does focus on Code, then it will become the strongest proof so far that Karma users truly have the ability to disrupt or even break free from the path of fate created by that Shinjutsu. And once again, not completely, but they definitely have the potential to do it. Yeah, I hope you get my point. But if I had to guess, I think Code arc should start in the next chapter. What do you guys think? If there are any points where you think I'm wrong and you have evidence that's way more interesting than this, let me know in the comments. And of course, if you enjoyed this, help me push this video to 100 likes or 10K hype points. I'm Nim without the E. See you in the next video. Bye-bye, Dada Bio.